Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel, your go-to destination for insightful discussions and academic explorations. Today we are delving into the realm of Marxism, a pivotal school of thought that has significantly influenced literary and cultural studies. This video is a tailor-made for UGC NET English aspirants as we unravel the key ideas and contributions of prominent Marxist thinkers. So buckle up for a journey through the minds of intellectual giants. Now let's see what is the meaning of Marxism. Marxism in the context of UGC NET English encompasses a critical lens through which literature is analyzed, emphasizing social, economic and political dimensions. It involves understanding text as a reflection of a class struggles, historical context and power dynamics. For UGC NET English aspirants, embracing Marxist perspectives unlock a deeper comprehension of societal structures embedded in literary works. Marxian theories, from the seminal ideas of Karl Marx to the contemporary insight of scholars like Terry Eagleton, provide a framework for dissecting the ideological underpinnings of literature. Ultimately, Marxism serves as a key intellectual tool for scholars navigating the intricate landscape of literary analysis in the UGC NET English examination. Now let's see the key Marxism thinkers for UGC NET English. Our exploration begins with the foundational figure of Marxism, none other than Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. We'll discuss their groundbreaking works like the Communist Manifesto and Capital, examining their revolutionary perspectives on class struggle, historical materialism and the critique of capitalism. These ideas are fundamental for understanding the socio-political context of literature. Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, the foundational figure of Marxism, have produced seminal work that remain pivotal in the study of literature. For UGC NET English aspirants, familiarity with this essential text is crucial. First is the Communist Manifesto, 1848, a revolutionary call to action, outlining the principles of communism and addressing class struggles in society. Next is Capital Volume 1, Das Kapital, 1867, Marx's magnum opus delving into the intricacies of capitalist economic system, labor and surplus value. Next is the German Ideology, 1845 to 1846, co-authored by Marx and Engels. This work critiques German philosophy and introduces historical materialism. Next is the 18 Brumaire of Louis Napoleon, 1852, an analysis of political events exploring the relationship between social and structure and political power. Next is the Gramsci, 1857-1858, Marx's notebooks that contain early drafts of his economic theories, providing insight into the development of his thought. Next is Thesis on Feuerbach, 1845, a short influential work by Marx addressing the role of philosophy in changing the world. Next is Anti-Düring, 1878, Engels' comprehensive critique of a Düring philosophy covering various aspects of a Marxist thought. Next is The Condition of the Working Class in England, 1845, Engels' exploration of the harsh conditions faced by the working class during the Industrial Revolution. Next is Socialism, Utopian and Scientific. 1880, Engels' work explaining the scientific basis of a socialism and contrasting it with earlier utopian socialist ideas. Next is The Holy Family, 1844, co-authored by Marx and Engels. This critique of a contemporary philosophical and political ideas explores the concept of alienation. Friends, these foundational works serves as a cornerstones for understanding the Marxist perspective on literature, history and society, providing a rich source of ideas of a UGC NET English examinations. Moving on, let's dive into the theories of Louis Althusser. Known for his influential concept of ideological state apparatuses, Althusser's work has left a lasting impact on Marxist thought. Unravel his key ideas and explore the relevance in the realm of literary studies. Louis Althusser, a prominent Marxist philosopher, has contributed significantly to the understanding of ideology, social structure, and the role of the state. For UGC NET English aspirants, familiarity with these Althusser's key works is essential. First is for Marx, 1965, Althusser's influential collection of essays where he presents his interpretation of a Marxist theory, emphasizing the concept of a structural causality. Next is Reading Capital, co-authored with Antine Balibar, Roger Establet and Pierre Bourdieu, 1965, an exploration and reinterpretations of a Marx Capital, offering insight into Althusser's structuralist approach. Next is Lenin and Philosophy and Other Essays, 1971, a compilation of Althusser's essay including ideology and ideological state apparatus, which introduces the concept of ideological state apparatuses. Next is Essays on Ideology, 1984, a collection of Althusser's writings that delve into the relationship between ideology, subjectivity, and social structure. Next is Politics and History, Montesquieu, Rousseau, Marx. An examination of the political theories of Montesquieu and Rousseau, with a concluding section on a Marxist historical materialism. Next is on the reproduction of capitalism, ideology and ideological state apparatuses, co-authored with Etienne Balibar, 1971 to 1972, expands on the concept of ideological state apparatus and their role in the reproduction of capitalist societies. Next is Machiavelli and Us, co-authored with Etienne Balibar, 1999, a reflection on the political philosophy and Machiavelli and its relevance to Marxist thought. Next is The Future Lasts Forever, a memoir, 1992, Althusser's autobiographical work reflecting on his life, intellectual journey and the challenges he faced. Next is Reading Capital, co-authored with Etienne Balibar, 1968, a collaborative effort for provide a guide for understanding Marxist capital, offering an interpretation grounded in Althusser's structuralist perspectives. Next is Philosophy of the Encounter, Letter Writings, 1978 to 1987, 1993, a posthumous collection of Althusser's letter writing, offering insights into his evolving philosophical ideas. Friends, these works by Louis Althusser provide a foundation for comprehending his structuralist interpretation of Marxism and are valuable resources for UGC NET English examining, focusing on literary and cultural studies. Now let's explore the prison notebook of Antonio Gramsci, his concept of a cultural hegemony and the role of intellectuals have shaped discussions on power and ideology. Well, analyze how Gramsci's ideas can be applied to literary analysis and understanding societal structure. Antonio Gramsci, an Italian Marxist philosopher and theorist, has made significant contribution to the understanding of cultural hegemony, ideology, and the role of intellectual. Now let's see the important work list of Antonio Gramsci. First is Prison Notebooks 1929 to 1935, Gramsci's magnum opus. Written during his imprisonment, explore a wide range of topics, including cultural hegemony, the state, civil society, and the role of intellectuals. It is a cornerstone of a Gramscian thought. Next is Selection from the Prison Notebooks, edited by Quentin Hoare and Jeffrey Noble Smith, 1971. This collection includes translated excerpts from Gramsci's prison notebooks, offering key insight into his ideas on culture, politics, and society. Next is Letters from Prison, a collection of Gramsci's letters written during his imprisonment, providing a personal and historical context to his intellectual development. Next is The Modern Prince and Other Writings. This compilation includes key writings by Gramsci, such as The Modern Prince, where he discusses the role of political leader in revolutionary movements. Next important work is Quaderni del Carcere, the complete Italian edition of Gramsci's prison notebooks, offering a comprehensive look at his thoughts on culture, politics, and social change. Next is The Southern Question, Gramsci's early work on the economic and social issues facing southern Italy, exploring themes of development and regional disparities. Next is The Prison Notebook and Introduction, an accessible introduction to Gramsci's prison notebooks, providing background information and summaries of key concepts for readers new to his work. Next is Pre-Prison Writings, a collection of Gramsci's writing before his imprisonment, offering insight into his early political and intellectual development. Next is the Antonio Gramsci Reader, Selected Writings 1916 to 1935, a comprehensive selection of Gramsci's writing, providing readers with a broad overview of his ideas on politics, culture, and society. Next is Antonio Gramsci Further Selection from the Prison Notebooks, a continuation of selected writings from Gramsci's prison notebooks, focusing on key themes in cultural and political analysis. Friends, these works by Antonio Gramsci are essential for your UGC NET English exam, seeking a deeper understanding of a Marxist thought in the context of cultural and literary studies. Next is Pierre Bourdieu. Shifting gears, we turn our attention to Pierre Bourdieu, a sociologist whose work extends into cultural and literary fields. We'll unpack his theories on cultural capital, habitus, and field, exploring how they contribute to our understanding of literature and its role in society. Pierre Bourdieu, a French sociologist and key figure in the field of cultural sociology, had significantly influenced the study of literature through his concept of a habitus, field and cultural capital. Now let's see the important work by him. First is Distinction, a social critique of the judgment of taste. In this seminal work, Bourdieu examines how social class influences cultural preferences and taste, introducing the concept of a cultural capital. Next is Outline of a Theory of a Practice. Bourdieu explored the concept of a habitus, the internalized set of dispositions that shapes an individual's actions and perception within a particular social context. Next is the field of a cultural production, a collection of Bourdieu's essays exploring the dynamic of a cultural fields, including literature and the arts and the mechanism of cultural consecration. Next is the rules of art, genesis and structure of the literary field. Bourdieu applies the sociological perspective to the realm of literature, analyzing the social structure that shape the production, distribution and reception to literary works. Next is Language and Symbolic Power. This collection of Bourdieu's essays addresses the role of language in power relation and social structure, offering insight into the symbolic dimensions of literature. Now let's consider the hermeneutics of Paul Ricoeur. As a philosopher influenced by Marxism, Ricoeur's ideas on interpretation and narrative can provide valuable insight on literary analysis. We will discuss his works and their implication for understanding text. Friends, Paul Ricoeur, a French philosopher known for his contribution to hermeneutics and phenomenology, has engaged with the Marxist thought in a nuanced way. While not strictly a Marxist thinker, his work offered valuable insight for UGC English aspirants interested in literary theory and interpretation. Here are some key works by Paul Ricoeur. First is Freedom and Nature, the Voluntary and the Involuntary, 1950. Ricoeur's early work explored the concepts of freedom and nature, laying the groundwork for his later philosophical inquiries. Next is Fallible Man, 1960. This book dwells into the limitations of human knowledge and the fallibility of human understanding, which are relevant consideration for literary interpretations. Next is The Symbolism of Evil, 1960. Ricoeur reflects on the nature of evil and symbolism, offering insight into philosophical underpinnings of interpreting symbolic in literature. Next is Freud and Philosophy, an essay on interpretation, 1965. In this influential work, Ricoeur engages with the psychoanalysis and interpretations, providing a hermeneutical perspective on the relationship between language and meaning. Next is The Rule of a Metaphor, multidisciplinary studies of the creation of a meaning in language, 1975. Ricoeur explored the role of a metaphor in language and meaning, contributing to the understanding of figurative language in literature. Next is Time and Narrative, 1984-1988, a major work in 3 volumes. This series examines the relationship between time, narrative, and interpretation. Volume 3 in particular explored time and narratives in the context of history, memory, and identity. Next is Oneself as Another. 1990, Ricoeur explored the nature of selfhood and identity, offering philosophical insight into the complex interplay between the self and the other. Next is From Text to Action. Essays in Hermeneutics 2, 1991. This collection essays includes Ricoeur's reflection on interpretation and action, shedding light on the relationship between text and lived experience. Next is Memory, History, Forgetting. 2000. Ricoeur explored the nature of a memory and its role in historical understanding, providing philosophical perspective on the interpretation of the past. Next is The Course of a Recognition. In a collaboration with other thinkers, Ricoeur engages with the concept of a recognition, offering insight into the dynamic of social relations and identity. Next on our journey is Ernest Mandel, an economist and Marxist theorist. We'll explore Mandel's contributions to Marxist economic thought and discuss how his ideas intersect with the literary studies, shedding light on the economic dimension of literature. Friends, Ernest Mandel, a Marxist economist and theorist, has made notable contribution to Marxist economic thought and political philosophy. While his works primarily focus on economics, they provide valuable insight for UGC NET English aspirants seeking a broader understanding of Marxism. And here are some key works by Ernest Mandel. First work is Marxist Economic Theory, 1962. Mandel's comprehensive overview of a Marxist economic thought, providing insight into the key concepts and principles of Marxist economics. Next is Late Capitalism, 1972. In this influential work, Mandel analyzed the development and characteristic of late-stage capitalism, examining its economic dynamic and contradictions. Next is Marxist Economic Theory, Volume 2, 1977. A continuation of Mandel's exploration of Marxist economic theory, delving deeper into issues such as crisis theory and imperialism. Next is The Formation of the Economic Thought of Karl Marx, 1943 to Capital, 1971. Mandel examines the evolution of a Karl Marx economic thought from his early writings to the development of Capital. Next is Power and Money, a Marxist theory of the bureaucracy, 1992. Mandel explored the concept of a bureaucracy from a Marxist perspective, examining its role in the capitalist society and its impact on class relations. Next is The Meaning of the Second World War, 1986. In this work, Mandel provides a Marxist analysis of the Second World War, examining its economic, political, and social implications. Next is Introduction to Marxist Economic Theory, 1975. A concise introduction to Marxist economic thought, offering a clear overview of its core concepts and relevance. Next is Marxist Economic Theory, Volume 1, 1968. Another volume in Mandel's exploration of a Marxist economic theory, focusing on issues such as value theory, surplus value, and accumulation. Next is The Marxist System, Economic, Political, and Social Perspectives, 1979. Mandel provides an overview of the Marxist system covering economic, political, and social aspects, making it accessible to a broader audience. Next is in defense of socialist planning. Mandel argues in favor of a socialist planning as a viable alternative to capitalist market mechanism, addressing debates on economic planning within the Marxist tradition. Ray Williams, a key figure in cultural studies, is our next stop. We'll delve into his writing on culture, communication, and society. Examining their significance in the context of literary analysis, Williams' ideas have paved the way for understanding the cultural dimensions of literature. And here is a list of some of his important works. First is Culture and Society, 1780. 1950-1958, Williams' groundbreaking work that explored the relationship between culture and society, tracing the historical development of cultural forms and their social context. The Long Revolution. Next is The Wrong Revolution, 1961. In this influential work, Williams examines the cultural change and the role of education in shaping a democratic and participatory culture. Next is The Country and the City, 1973. Williams contrasts rural and urban life, exploring the changing representations of the countryside and city in the literature and culture. Next is Marxism and Literature, 1977. A key text in the literary theory where Williams engages with the Marxist thought and its application to the analysis of literature, emphasizing the relationship between literature and social structure. Next is Keywords of a vocabulary of culture and society, a seminal work that explored the historical development and changing meaning of keywords in culture and society, providing insight into the evolution of a language and ideas. Next is the Politics of Modernism against the New Conformists. William examines the political dimensions of modernism in literature and art, critiquing what he sees as a conservative turn in cultural reproduction. Next is the Sociology of a Culture, 1981. Co-authored with other scholars, this work presents a collection of essays that delve into the sociological dimensions of a culture, including Williams' perspectives on culture materialism. Next is Problem in Materialism and Culture, Selected Essays, a collection of essays where Williams engages with the Marxist culture theory, discussing issues such as ideology, structure of a feeling, and the relationship between culture and society. Next is Modern Tragedy, 1966. Williams explores the concept of a tragedy in modern literature and drama, examining how it reflects social and cultural tensions. Next is Drama from Ibsen to Bread. In this work, William provides a historical analysis of a modern drama, exploring the contributions of playwrights such as Ibsen, Shaw, and Brecht to the theoretical tradition. Friends, Raymond Williams' works are pivotal for UGC NET English aspirants, offering insight into cultural studies, literary theory, and the relationship between literature and society. Engaging with these writings provides a solid foundation for understanding the complexities of culture analysis within the context of a Marxist thought. Now let's transition to the new historism with the Stephen Greenblatt. We'll discuss how Greenblatt combines Marxist ideas and historical context, offering a unique perspectives on literature and its relationship to power, politics and culture. Stephen Greenblatt, an influential literary critic and co-founder of the New Historicism, has made substantial contribution to the intersection of literature and historical context. While Greenblatt's work is not strictly within the Marxist tradition, his new historist approach engages with the socio-political context, making it relevant for UGC NET English aspirants interested in literary theory and criticism. And here are some key works by Stephen Greenblatt. First is Renaissance Self-Fashioning, From Moore to Shakespeare, 1980. Greenblatt explores the concept of a selfhood in the Renaissance period, examining how individuals shaped their identities within the socio-political context. Next is Shakespearean Negotiations, the circulation of a social energy in Renaissance England. This collection of essays delve into various aspects of Shakespeare's works, applying new historicist principles to analyze the circulation of social energy in Renaissance England. Next is Invisible Bullets, Renaissance Authority and its Subversion. Greenblatt investigates the ways in which authority is both asserted and subverted in Renaissance literature and culture, providing insight into power dynamics. Next is Hamlet in Purgatory. Greenblatt explored the cultural, religious and psychological dimensions of Hamlet, examining the play's reception in the context of a Protestant Reformation. Next is Marvelous Possessions, The Wonder of the New World. Greenblatt examines the European encounter with the New World, analyzing the culture and literary representations of the Americas during the Age of Exploration. The Sphere, How the World Became Modern. In this Pulitzer Prize winning work, Greenblatt explored the recovery of Lucretius on the nature of things and its impact on a Renaissance thought, tracing its influence on modernity. Next is Shakespeare's freedom. Greenblatt reflects on the concept of a freedom in Shakespeare's work, exploring the ways in which characters negotiate constraints and exercise agency. Next is Learning to Curse, Essay in Early Modern Culture, a collection of essays that covers a range of topics in early modern culture, showcasing Greenblatt's interdisciplinary approach to literary studies. Next is the Norton Anthology of English Literature, co-authored with M.H. Abraham and others. Greenblatt has been involved in the editing of major anthologies, contributing to the shaping of literary canons and providing context for diverse literary works. Finally, we conclude our journey with the Terry Eagleton, a contemporary literary theorist. Eagleton's engagement with the Marxism and his critique of a capitalist communist provide a lens through which we can analyze literature. We'll explore his key works and their relevance for UGC NET English. Friends, Terry Eagleton, a prominent literary theorist and cultural critic and Marxist leanings, has made substantial contribution to the field of literary theory and cultural studies. For UGC NET English aspirants interested in Marxist perspectives on literature, here is a list of some of his important works. First is Literary Theory and Introduction, a widely used textbook that provides a comprehensive overview of various literary theories, including Marxist literary theory in an accessible and engaging manner. Next is The Ideology of Aesthetics. Eagleton critically examined the concept of the aesthetic, exploring its ideological implications and the relationship between art, politics, and society. Next is Ideology and Introduction 1991. Eagleton explored the concept of ideology, examining its role in shaping perceptions, beliefs, and power structure within society. Next is Walter Benjamin, or Towards a Revolutionary Criticism, an exploration of Walter Benjamin's work delving into the intersection between literature, culture, and politics. Next is The Function of Criticism from the Spectator to Post-Structuralism. Eagleton examines the historical development of literary criticism, tracing its evolution from traditional approaches to more contemporary perspectives. Next is The Illusion of Postmodernism. In this work, Eagleton critiques postmodernism, arguing against its perceived abandonment of social and political concerns in literary and cultural studies. Next is Marxism and Literary Criticism, a foundational work where Eagleton explored the application of Marxist principles to the analysis of literature, emphasizing the socio-political dimensions of literary texts. Next is The Condition of Postmodernity, an inquiry into the origins of cultural change, 1990. While not strictly a Marxist work, Eagleton engages with the postmodernity, critiquing its impact on a culture and society. Next is Why Marx Was Right. In this book, Eagleton defends the relevance of a Marxist thought in the contemporary world, addressing common criticism and misconception about Marxism. Next is Literary Theory and Introduction. Eagleton revisits and updates his influential textbook, reflecting on the changes and development in literary theory over the years. Friends, these works by Terry Eagleton provide a valuable entry point for UGC NET English aspirants seeking to understand the intersection between literature, culture, and Marxist thought. Eagleton's accessible writing and engagement with a wide range of literary and cultural topics make his works beneficial for those exploring Marxist perspectives in literary studies. And friends, there you have it, a comprehensive exploration of Marxism and its key thinker for UGC NET English. We hope this video has provided valuable insight for your academic pursuit. If you found it helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more educational content. Leave your thoughts in the comment box below and stay tuned for our next intellectual adventure. Until then, happy learning. Thank you and all the best.